Colour's like a living thing. When you put a colour next to another colour, it completely affects it, it completely changes everything. Relationships of colours next to other colours, it's my whole subject, it's what I'm fascinated by. I don't tend to try to replicate a sketch or go out and draw and paint in sketchbooks and then use that. I tend to go straight into working on the image itself, which is not to be recommended. It's a really, really long-winded process. I suppose that the images come from something that I've seen or something that I've felt. I might have been travelling in Morocco or the sort of wide open spaces of the desert in Mexico, or sometimes the Cornish landscape creeps in, that sort of rhythm, just that feeling, those textures, or that sort of a space. I think that a lot of memories that you have from childhood formulate the way that you work as well. I was born in Australia, for example, in a very hot place, Queensland, with very bright colours. I think those sort of things do filter in and affect your imagination a lot. When I first acquired this studio, it was an incredible feeling because it has such an amazing history to it. One of my biggest idols, Patrick Heron, used to have this studio, and previous to that, Ben Nicholson, and several famous artists have worked here, but especially Patrick Heron was a huge influence on me when I was a student, and I used to watch a film of Patrick Heron painting in this very studio, and I had no clue that I would ever be in a position that I would be painting here day after day on that same wall, and that's incredible to me. When I first walk into the studio, all that history is here. But after about half an hour, when I've lit my fire and I've started to look at my own paintings again, it becomes my studio, and the weight of the history of the place does tend to disappear. This studio isn't a museum, it is a working studio, and it will continue to be. I tend to work on several paintings at the same time, and sometimes when I'm working on one, out of the corner of my eye, I'll see a problem that I've had with another one, and what I'm working on now will inform that. You can change things, you can ruin something so quickly. You have to be very careful not to just pounce in. You need to give yourself time to sit back and think. So other slightly more boring activities are quite good, like making tea or tending the fire. Those things all help. During the course of making this series of paintings, I moved studios from the big one, number 5, to this one, which is number 9. It's also one of the Porthmeor studios and has a lovely history as well. It's beautiful. I love it for completely different reasons. It has the sea right outside the window. It's a smaller studio, but with that big expanse, always there, always moving. I find it really calming. I work with my back naturally to it all day because of the light. But every time I turn around or move, I see it, and it's always there, and it's just a lovely rest from the intensity of always looking at your own work. I started the paintings in a studio that was quite internal and actually had no outlook, and then halfway through, with the paintings only half finished, moved to this studio with such an expanse. And then they altered, and unconsciously altered in different ways because of the environment of this studio. Strange things happened, like horizon lines appeared and the light changed, the space. I've really enjoyed the whole process of making this new body of work. I've enjoyed the influence of the environments of the two different studios. I think I found this whole process of making these particular paintings very liberating. I've really allowed myself to just indulge in loving colour.